I found out my brother was getting married the same way people find out about celebrity gossip, through social media. Not a phone call. Not a text. Not an invitation. Just a random photo posted by a cousin with the caption, "Wedding season starts. So excited for the big day." And there he was. My brother. Standing with his fiancée. Smiling. Celebrating. Planning a wedding I was never even told about. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe the post was old. Maybe it was some engagement shoot I didn't know about. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance that he or my parents would message me any moment saying, "We were just finalizing things, we'll send your invitation soon." But hours passed. Then a whole night. And still nothing. The silence was louder than any answer. It wasn't just forgetting. It wasn't an oversight. It was intentional. I kept staring at that picture until my eyes blurred. Something inside my chest tightened, like someone was pressing a hand directly into my ribs. I wasn't angry yet. I wasn't even hurt yet. I was confused. Completely and painfully confused. Why would they hide this from me? I scrolled through the comments under the post. Everyone was congratulating them. Everyone seemed to know. The relatives I rarely talked to knew. Our neighbors knew. Mom's friends knew. Even some classmates from school knew. But me? The older sibling? The one who raised him when our parents were too busy fighting to be parents. The one who helped him pass math, who covered for him, who protected him. I was nobody. Just an afterthought. Maybe not even that. I called my mom. She didn't pick up. Called Dad. Straight to voicemail. Messaged my brother. It showed seen and nothing else. Not even a single word reply. That was the moment the confusion cracked, and the hurt bled through. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a misunderstanding. They didn't want me there. The next day at work, I was useless. I stared at my computer, reread emails 3 times, typed and deleted replies. My mind wasn't in that office. It was replaying years of moments. Birthdays, laughs, fights, reconciliations, and none of it made sense anymore. Why was I suddenly the outsider in my own family? I called my sister, not because I expected honesty, but because she always knew everything first. Her voice was cheerful at the start, but when she realized it was me, it turned cautious. "Oh hey, what's up?" I went straight to the point. "When is the wedding?" A long pause. Too long. Finally she exhaled. "Listen. I didn't want to be the one telling you. So you knew." Another pause. "Everyone knew," she whispered. The way she said it, so small, so careful, told me everything. She wasn't protecting me. She was protecting them. My heart sank deeper. Why wasn't I invited? This time, she didn't answer immediately. "Mom said you'd only bring drama." "Drama?" I repeated, stunned. What did I even do? "She thinks you're distant. Cold. That you've pulled away from the family." I almost laughed. The irony was so twisted it hurt. "I pulled away? They cut me out." "Please don't be angry," she said softly. "It's Mom's decision." And Dad agreed. I pressed my fingers into my temples. And my brother? He didn't want conflict. He just went along with it. Went along with it. Those words shattered something. As if all the years of brotherhood, trust, sacrifice, they meant nothing when put against keeping peace with our parents. I asked, "So I'm really not invited?" "No," she whispered. "Mom said it's better this way. Less stress. Less stress." I apparently was stress. After I hung up, I sat in my apartment in complete silence. The walls felt closer. The air felt heavier. My hands felt numb. The truth was clear. My parents and brother had erased me from the family for the event that mattered most to them. So I made a decision. Not in anger. Not in revenge. Not even in sadness. But in clarity. If I wasn't family enough to be invited to the wedding, then I wasn't obligated to stay home waiting for an apology that would never come. I opened my laptop, searched flights, and without a second thought, booked a trip for the same week as the wedding. Somewhere far. Somewhere peaceful. Somewhere I didn't have to pretend I had a family who cared. When the confirmation email arrived, I felt a strange sense of relief. Freedom, almost. like stepping out of a room I didn't realize had been suffocating me. 2 days before the wedding, I finally got a message. Not from my brother. Not from my parents. From my sister. Sorry, dear, this event. It's only for close family. I hope you understand. Close family. The words echoed in my head like someone laughing straight into my face. After everything I had done for them, after years of being the mediator, the helper, the one who picked up the pieces, they discarded me like I was nothing. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Don't worry. I won't be anywhere near the wedding." I didn't tell her about the trip. She didn't deserve to know where I was going. None of them did. But as I packed my bags, something deep inside me whispered that this wasn't the end. Families like mine didn't just let things end quietly. And I had no idea that the moment I left town, something would happen that would change everything and expose the real reason they never invited me in the first place. My flight was early in the morning, so I left home before sunrise. The sky was still dark, the streets silent, and for once, silence didn't feel lonely. It felt like a new beginning. I checked in, sat by the window, and watched the city lights shrink under the clouds as the plane lifted. For the first time in months, I breathed freely. I wasn't running away from them. I was running toward myself. My destination was peaceful, quiet, oceanside. I spent hours walking the beach, letting the waves numb thoughts I had held onto for too long. No calls. No messages. No expectations. Just me, finally allowed to exist without being compared, judged, or dismissed. On the second day, I turned my phone back on. Big mistake. A flood of notifications hit instantly. Dozens of missed calls, 17 messages from cousins, 6 from relatives I barely knew, even 2 from neighbors back home. And then I saw it. The message from my sister. "Where are you?" Not "how are you?" Not "are you okay?" Not "we're sorry." Just panic. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened the family group chat, something I should have done earlier. That's when I saw the chaos. Aunt 1, where is the elder sibling? Aunt 2, how can a brother get married without inviting his own family? Uncle, this looks shameful. People are talking. Cousin, why did you hide it? And then my mother's message. They knew about the wedding. They refused to attend because they didn't want to be involved. My hands went cold. Refused? Refused? I scrolled down. Dad had added. We offered an invitation. They turned it down. We can't force anyone to care. My stomach twisted. I felt heat rush up my neck. They weren't just lying about not inviting me. They were painting me as the villain. The ungrateful child. The distant sibling. The one who abandoned the family during an important moment. My trip suddenly felt less peaceful. I typed a reply, but before sending it, I stopped myself. No, not like this. Not through text. If they wanted to twist the story, fine. Let them talk. Let them panic. Let them drown in their own lies. That evening, while watching the sunset melt into the water, I got another message. This time from someone I never expected. My brother. Brother, are you seriously not coming? Mom said you're making a scene. I replied, I was never invited. His reply came instantly. I thought you were. I stared at his message, expressionless. That's it? That's all he had to say? No sorry. No explanation. No responsibility. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, he sent another message. Brother, anyway, it doesn't matter now. Just don't do anything stupid. I almost laughed. Stupid? You hide your own wedding from your sibling, and I'm the one who might do something stupid. I turned my phone off again. But the universe wasn't done with me yet. On the morning of the wedding, I was having breakfast by the beach when a couple walked past me. They were laughing, showing each other a clip on their phone. A clip of a wedding hall. I froze when I heard a voice I recognized. My aunt's, shouting in the background of the video. Where is the elder one? How can they not be here? The couple kept walking, unaware that they had just handed me a piece of information no one intended for me to see. So the truth slipped out. The relatives weren't supporting my parents. The relatives weren't buying their lies. They were angry, furious, because everyone expected me to be at the wedding. Then it hit me. My parents didn't hide the wedding to avoid drama. They hid it because they were afraid. Afraid that I would overshadow the event? Afraid I'd say something? Afraid I'd expose something? Or worse, afraid that people would compare me and my brother again and see the truth they tried to hide all these years? Whatever their reason was, it wasn't small. And it definitely wasn't innocent. That evening, as fireworks exploded in the distance and the ocean glowed with reflections, I made a decision. I wasn't going to run anymore. Not from their lies. Not from their manipulation. Not from the truth they were hiding. If they wanted silence, they chose the wrong person. Because once I returned home, I would find out exactly why they erased me from the wedding. And what I uncovered would shake the entire family more than my absence ever did. When I returned home, the wedding was already over, but the aftermath was still burning. The moment I stepped into my apartment, my phone buzzed nonstop. Missed calls from relatives, voice notes from cousins, and 10 unread messages from my sister. I ignored all of them. Instead, I unpacked slowly, calmly, like someone preparing for a storm, not running from it. 2 days later, I finally stepped out to buy groceries. That's when Mrs. Hale, our neighbor from across the street, saw me and rushed over. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, grabbing my arm. "I'm so sorry." I blinked. "For what?" She sighed, looking genuinely heartbroken. "Your mother told everyone you refused to come to the wedding because you didn't want to be around your brother's fiancé. She said you made her cry." I stopped breathing for a moment. So the lies had grown. Not only did they claim they invited me, they painted me as a jealous, bitter sibling who ruined the happiness of the bride. My voice came out flat. "Did she say why I would do that?" "Oh, honey," Mrs. Hale lowered her voice. "She said you've always envied your brother's success." Success? My brother worked a basic job our father got him. Meanwhile, I worked 2 jobs through college to survive. Envy was the last thing I felt. I thanked her politely and returned home, feeling the heat build in my spine. Not anger, clarity. Cold, sharp clarity. They weren't lying to protect themselves. They were lying to destroy my character. But why go that far? That evening, my sister finally showed up at my door. She didn't knock gently. She pounded like someone owed her money. I opened the door halfway. "What do you want?" She pushed inside without waiting. Her makeup was smudged, her hair messy. She looked like someone who hadn't slept since the wedding. "You embarrassed us," she snapped. I stared at her. I wasn't even there. "That's the point," she shouted. I closed the door and leaned against it, folding my arms. "Explain." She paced the room, hands shaking. "Do you know how it looked? Having an empty chair in the front row? People kept asking where you were. Aunt Miriam cried. Grandma refused to come inside the hall until she saw you. So," I said calmly, "so Mom had to tell everyone you didn't want to come." I tilted my head. "And that was easier than telling the truth?" She flinched. Just a tiny twitch, but I saw it. I stepped closer. "Why didn't Mom want me there?" "The real reason." Her lips tightened. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said softly. "I'm being patient." "Don't test it." She sat on the edge of my couch, covering her face with both hands. For a moment, I almost felt pity. Almost. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she whispered. "Mom didn't want problems." "What problems?" She hesitated, then spoke the sentence that made everything click. "His in-laws asked for a simple, small wedding. They didn't want outsiders." I blinked. "Outsiders?" She nodded. "That's what Mom told them," she added quietly. "That you were very close. That you lived your own life. That inviting you would only complicate things." There it was. The truth. The slap I had felt weeks ago finally had a shape. I wasn't cut out because of drama. I wasn't cut out because they forgot. I wasn't cut out because I pulled away. I was cut out because it was convenient for them. I was the expendable one. The one whose presence didn't benefit anyone. The one easy to erase. My sister kept talking. "And you know, Dad, he didn't want to argue with the in-laws. They're wealthy. Important," Mom said. I held up a hand. "Stop." She froze. I looked her dead in the eyes. "So Mom told them I was basically a stranger. That my presence didn't matter." "Yes." A long silence filled the room. Then I smiled. Not a happy smile. A knowing one. The kind someone wears when a puzzle finally completes itself. My sister stepped back. Why are you smiling? Because now it all makes sense. I finally understood why they disappeared when I needed them. Why they forgot birthdays. Why I wasn't included in family photos. Why decisions happen without me. Why I was always an obligation, not a choice. I was useful when they needed me. Invisible when they didn't. Look, she said softly, you can still fix this. Apologize. Show you care. Apologize. I repeated. For what? For existing. She looked away. I exhaled, slow and steady. Tell Mom and Dad I know the truth. And I'm done. She shook her head desperately. Please don't do this. People already think. I don't care what people think. You sound cruel. No, I said, stepping closer. I sound free. She left without another word. And that night, as I sat in the quiet of my apartment, something inside me shifted. A boundary. A realization. A line that could never be crossed again. This wasn't just about a wedding. This was a lifetime of being the expendable child. And now that I understood the truth, I wasn't going to let it go. Because what my family didn't know was that someone had already reached out to me during my trip, someone connected to the wedding. Someone who knew things even my sister didn't. And they were about to reveal a secret that would change everything. And expose why my family truly wanted me gone.